So I'm going to give you a couple of pieces from the book that are group mind related. On page 49, in 1984, biologist Wayne Potts of the University of Utah filmed the banking movements of large flocks of dunlins, small shore-wading birds over Puget Sound, Washington. When the rapid exposures were slowed down, he found that neighbor-to-neighbor changes in behavior could occur in 15 thousandths of a second. Remember that number, 15 thousandths. These changes could be originated either by single birds or small groups anywhere in the flock and spread in a near simultaneous wave throughout. Potts then tested dunlins in the laboratory to see how quickly they could respond to a stimulus. He found that on average it required 38 thousandths of a second for a bird to initiate a startled response to a flash of light. This meant that they could not rely on visual cues from their neighbors to change directions in flight. The experiment showed that their reactions to light were much slower than this reaction to changes in their flight direction. On page 63, in March of 2008, two sperm whales, a mother and her calf, stranded themselves on Mahia Beach on the eastern side of New Zealand's North Island. For an hour and a half, rescuers attempted to return them to the water, but failed. The whales became disoriented and stranded themselves 4 more times on a sandbar. Both the rescuers and the whales became exhausted, and the rescuers began to believe it would be necessary to euthanize the whales to prevent their suffering a slow, prolonged death. Then Moko, a bottlenose dolphin, well known to swimmers in the area, appeared. She approached the whales and led them 200 yards through the shallow waters along the beach to a channel that led to the open sea. After rescuing the 2 sperm whales, Moko returned to the beach to play with human swimmers. "I don't speak whale and I don't speak dolphin," one conservation officer, Malcolm Smith, said. But there was obviously something that went on because the 2 whales changed their attitude from being quite distressed to following the dolphin quite willingly and directly along the beach and straight out to the sea. The dolphin did what we had failed to do. It was all over in a matter of minutes. So there's an interesting example of animals saving other species of animals. On page 75, it's an interesting one. I was a psychology major, experimental psychology major as an undergraduate, and I worked with rats in laboratories testing behavior. I don't recall doing anything that would really hurt the rats, but I have this connection with rats, and this next bit is about an experiment done with rats. The experiment was conducted by a team of neuroscientists and psychologists at the University of Chicago. Their goal was to determine whether genuine empathic behavior exists in non-primate mammals, in this case, pairs of white lab rats. Researchers placed a free rat in an arena with a cage mate that was restrained in a clear plastic tube. The tube had at one end a door that could be opened from the outside. The free rat behaved in a more agitated way when its cage mate was restrained, compared to its activity when placed in the arena with an empty restrainer. After several daily sessions, the free rat learned how to open the restrainer door and free its cage mate. Opening the door was not a simple task, but the free rat kept at it until it had mastered the technique. After discovering how to open the door, the free rat thereafter would do so almost immediately upon being placed in the arena with the restrained cage mate. One of the researchers explained, "We're not training these rats in any way. They are learning because they are motivated by something internal. We're not showing them how to open the door. They don't get any previous exposure to opening the door, and it's hard to open the door. but they keep trying and trying until it eventually works. Pure empathy appeared to be involved. For example, the free rats did not bother to open the door when a toy rat was placed in the clear plastic restrainer. And they opened it even if it released their companion into a separate area, but showed they were not just looking for company. Moreover, when the free rat was offered two restraining tubes to open, one of which contained its companion cage mate, and the other a pile of chocolate chips, one of their favorite foods, they were as likely to free the restrained rat first as to open the chocolate chip containing tube first. So I thought that was kind of interesting. These rats having empathy for one another. Do we personally have empathy for others that somehow our culture has taught us to put in submission?